Welcome to BOS 554, Financial Planning and Control. I have our course open right here just under the course information page. Just to let everybody know what the course dates are, we'll start on the 29th and we'll be done on December 17th. So just so everybody knows, and we'll talk a little bit about what this class means and what we'll do. Basically understanding finance. And in finance, we're really trying to figure out what kind of decisions do we make to make the company worth more. We'll be approaching this more from a corporate financial perspective, but the finance principles we're learning will really apply to almost any business at all. Let me show you around the class just a little bit here. I'll click on main page. Then under main page, if you click it again, there's the about right here. You can see that. Then the handouts, there's quite a bit of information under the handouts. The syllabus is here. The access to MindTap is here. I've already sent that out to everybody, but I'll show it to you again. And then for every chapter, I have roughly three things. I have a PowerPoint. I have the answer to review questions. And I have what they call a Toolkit Excel. Chapter 1 does not have a Toolkit Excel. Every other chapter does. And what those Toolkit Excels are, as you go through the chapters, as you look at the ebook, you'll notice that it looks like there's kind of a screenshot of an Excel file there, and that's what those are. If they contain a lot of good, kind of a mini textbook would be one way to say it. Just takes information from the chapter and condenses it a little bit. It gives you examples to look at. The chapters have some practice questions built within the actual chapter, not at the end of the chapter, and the answers for those are in the Toolkit Excels. They're very optional for you to look at and use. Some people like to look at them, some just really don't. There's no right or wrong to that. I just want to make sure you have access to all the resources that you need. The review questions at the back of every chapter, there are several review questions. And it's just, if you want to review the material a little bit deeper, a good way to do that is to go through the questions at the back of the chapter. These are more concept-based questions, and then just check what you think the answer is versus what the textbook answer is, which is what I've given you here. Some people will read those and just kind of think through, in their brain what the answer is. Some will maybe just jot down some of the highlights and then go and check the answer. Or you could just read the question and then go read the answer. And that's a good way to review for some of the homework assignments. So it's up to you, again, how much you use that. But it's kind of a good knowledge check. Is this making sense to me when I read the answer? Am I getting it? If you're not getting it, go back and review the chapter some more, and so on. So that's just a good way to approach it. So basically, almost every chapter except chapter 1 has a PowerPoint, review questions, and the Toolkit Excel. And that's what you see as you scroll down here. And some chapters have a little bit more information, and I'll show you those when we get to those chapters. But just overall, that's what you'll find here. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back to the top, and we'll go to main page, and then go to bookmarks. And then under bookmarks, I just have a direct link to the MindTap website, just if you just need to get there quickly. I would bookmark that site. Most of you probably have already, because it's not the first time you've used a Cengage product. The textbook companion site's right here. Just get kind of the student version of the website from the publisher. It has a few things. I've given you pretty much everything in my.usf that you need, but feel free to explore that if you would like to. Then all my various videos are right here. So anything that has a kind of a lecture, that's just me recording the PowerPoint, showing you around, letting you know what some of the higher level concepts are. And then a website that I really like is called Investopedia.com. And I've gone through that website and kind of organize some of the links based on how they fit to the topics we look at every week. And this is just more information, so you can look at these as you want to. Some of these are short videos that they put together. Some are basically just a web page with information, typically about a page in length. With just basically just one screen of here's a summary of EBITDA, and then the article's kind of over. So they're short articles that explain very complicated concepts, but kind of make it more summarized and just easier to follow. So if you think that will be useful for you, by all means, take a look at that. And another website I really like is called the accountingcoach.com website. And this is more of an accounting side of it, but it's important to understand the basics of some financial statements. And that's what this website does. So this just explains what the main financial statements are, why you might need to look at them, and so on. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. And then it's every week I've got a few different videos and whatnot. And then every week I'll be doing a WebEx, and those are optional. They will be recorded, and then I'll put the WebEx links within this bookmarks area. I'll let everybody know. I'll send out an email and post an announcement with that information also. Then I will also, on the weekly blog, I'll post something here also. So I just have one right here for now with what the various dates and times will be for our WebEx meetings for the rest of the class. So I just got that out there too, but I'll add more to that every week, and so you might want to just check the blog every so often. I might have some information there. I typically also email that out to everybody. Okay, so that's the kind of what the class looks like in my.usf. Besides the coursework, I should point that out. And so I got everything laid out here. So my.usf is the grade book of record. So this is the official grade book that we use to update your grades. We electronically store this. So this represents homework that you will do in MindTap, and then every week I will just transfer the grades over into here. So this will always be your grade book of record. And every week this kind of just shows you what you'll be working on. Most chapters have a quiz, kind of a set of homework problems, and what we call these blueprint problems, which are, the blueprint problems are kind of like they're paragraphs with blanks. And then in that blank you have a drop down and you kind of choose what the right answer is. So it's kind of more narrative. There are some problems within those blueprints too, but you'll get the hang of them pretty quick. They're really kind of cool. So you have homework problems like that. And then you can see, like in week 3, we're going to do chapters 3 and 4, and then there's a test, and I'll talk more about the test when we get closer to it. But all the homework, obviously online class, you're doing it on your own time. So you take the tests on your own time. They're timed, there's so many questions and so on, but I'll talk more about those in the future. Okay, so this is what everybody see. This is your homework and where it's all at, all that good stuff. Most weeks, I think you'll notice we're doing 2 chapters. There are a couple of weeks where it's just 1 chapter, but most weeks we're going to cover 2 chapters. So just be aware of that in the homework component. Probably safe to say 10 to 12 hours, depending on your level of knowledge about finance. If finance is your thing, it'll maybe go a little bit faster. If finance isn't your thing, you might have to spend more time studying to get ready for it. But 10 to 12, unless finance just isn't your thing, it might take more per week, hours and so on. But just be aware of that. And then we get into MindTap. So I've got it open right here, and this is what you'll see when you get into it. And so, chapter 1, it has activities here. I'll click on the drop down, and then it always has kind of a homework assignment. And remember that all the assignments for points are over here. So anything, this is actually just the link to the ebook. If I click on that, it's going to take us right to the ebook. It's a little bit slow when it first loads, but then once it loads, it goes pretty fast. So here's just chapter 1. Okay, so here's how to get to it. Very easy to get to. What's nice is you can easily navigate to different sections of a chapter by clicking on the hyperlinks. Let me go down to the bottom here. What I want to show you is, like, at the very end of every chapter, there's a chapter review and kind of a summary. Here's the big picture topics that you should be aware of for that chapter. And anything that's in blue, you just click on that. Or, I'm sorry, I thought I could click on that. Some chapters I can, some I can't. But anything that's in dark blue is basically some kind of a definition that you should be aware of. Okay, and they are within the chapter. Within the chapter itself, if you click on those, the definition pops up. And then this actually just kind of gives you another list of all the definitions. This is the terms, I should say, and it says to define them, but they are within the chapter itself. We'll go back and take a look at some of those. So it's always kind of good to review these. I always feel like if you know this information, you're in good shape. And again, these are the answers I've given you. So I've given you the answers for these. So if you just want to review by going, okay, what's a proprietorship? And you might think through, okay, here's what I think it is. Go check the answer. Oh, I got it right. I know what it is. So, but understanding these business forms, proprietorship, partnership, and so on is important, and what all these things are. And I would guess a lot of you are aware of these terms. This isn't the first time you've heard them. Chapter 1 is just a very kind of basic, get you going type of a chapter. And then there's many cases. We don't really cover those necessarily, and chapter 1 doesn't have as much stuff in it as other chapters do, but there's always this kind of stuff at the back of every chapter for you to review. I can go back to chapter contents, and I can jump around again. We can go like, let's just kind of jump into the corporate life cycle, and this is a matter of scrolling to the right, and then here's where I can click on something and see the definition. So I thought that back chapter would do, the back part of the chapter would do that. It did not, but right here. So if I don't know what a definition is, I can definitely go just find it within the chapter and click on the hyperlink, and it'll tell me exactly what that means. So that should be very helpful for you as you go about learning more about the chapter, just reading through it. So I'm going to close the ebook. And so then there's videos, and this is what's new this year. I've just got a new version of the book, so it's taken me a little bit longer to set it up because it's all brand new. They've really added a lot more things here, the publisher has. And so these videos are here for you to look at. You don't have to look at them. I mean, it's kind of just up to you. They're not long. The nice thing is they're short. And I think you'll enjoy them. So if these are topics as you read these and go, oh yeah, I should watch that, it's just extra material given to you by the publisher. And anything with this orange dot and it says counts towards grade. So this is assignments that you do that do then count for points. So I'm going to click on this one. This is your chapter 1. Chapter 1 is not number crunching. Chapter 1 is more concept based, but whenever you see an assignment, it has these 3 boxes here for attempts. The system is giving you 3 attempts to do this, and the highest score wins. So, you know, if I did this first one, the most points I can get is 3. Well, if I do it the first time and get 3 points, I'm good. I don't have to do it again. If I did it and got 2 points, I could consider doing it again. Now, when they, many of the problems, when you do them again, it's not repeating the exact same question. It'll be close, so you still have to know the concept, but the answer will be different, if that makes sense. And you'll figure that out as you go through it. So it's up to you how many attempts you want. Just know you can't hurt yourself. The highest score always wins when you do the 3 attempts. So high score wins. And let me show you what the blueprint problems look like too. Those are right here. And with these, you just get 1 attempt. So just be aware of that too. So with the blueprints, you got to be a little bit more certain that I know what I'm doing before I get too deep into those. But again, chapter 1 is very much more concept based. I'm going to close that. Then you have a quiz for every chapter. And the quizzes are timed. You can see here it says 30 minutes, 10 points. There's 10 questions worth 1 point each. Okay, so just kind of be aware. That's for most chapters, that's what you get for the homework, is those 3 right there. And then every chapter, in chapter 2 has more information and so on. Just here's the link to the ebook right there. Here's all the video reviews. Now, chapter 2 does have what I'll call number crunching problems. And then what it does here is it lets you kind of walk through how to do certain problems, which I kind of like. So it walks you through a video of here is how to do certain calculations and certain problems. And my weekly WebExes, I kind of do something like that. I don't do it exactly like they do it here. I'm not quite that fancy, but I do something similar where I'll walk you through how to do a few problems. So that'll be in the WebEx sessions that we do together. But just be aware there's some really good stuff here that's worth your time to watch. And then we get down to the actual assignments for points, and that's where everything's got the orange dot and says it counts towards your grade. And again, it's the set of problems, the blueprints, and the quiz. Okay, and then eventually you get down to where there's a test. I think it's at the end of chapter 3. So here's that test I was talking about. Those tests have 2-hour time limits, 100 points. That means just 50 questions. And I'll talk more about those down the road, but that's kind of how you navigate and jump around MindTap. Hopefully that helps you out quite a bit and gets you going on it. As always, if you have questions, just let me know. Thanks.